Iran crisis, Buhari needs silver, NNPC GMD as oil prices rise. Supreme Court upholds Governor Ikpeazu's victory. Police arrest wanted suspected armed robber. Minister denies endorsing Bash at least 5. Good morning and welcome to MCL News. I am Amanda Carlo, and now the details of the news. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday met behind closed doors with the Minister of State Petroleum, Timipre Silva, and Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, Mela Kyari, separately at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Both men declined to take questions at the end of their meeting with the President. The meeting is coming on the heels of escalating tension between the United States and Iran following the killing of Iran's General Qasem Soleimani, ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump last week, and the subsequent retaliatory attacks on military bases housing American troops in Iraq. Brent crude, the global benchmark, gained 2.4% to reach $70.24 per barrel on Monday, the first time in 7 months that prices have hit that high. Analysts warn the action could escalate tensions in the region and affect global oil production. The price spike pushed oil stocks on the London Stock Exchange higher, with BP up 2.7% and Royal Dutch Shell nearly 1.9% higher. Meanwhile, Silva had last week Friday said that the ongoing scuffles between the US and Iran will not affect oil prices, saying that prices have been on the increase even before the crisis. Asked how prepared Nigeria is for the ripple effects of the immense crisis, the minister told the select few reporters that as at now, Nigeria is not complaining because 2 days before the incident, oil was already $68 per barrel, well over our benchmark of $60 for 2020 budget. Silva said that the crisis will affect oil price in one way or the other, but Nigeria is hoping that the world remains peaceful and that things continue to remain peaceful. The Supreme Court on Wednesday affirmed the election of Ikpeazu as Abia State Governor. It was reported that an appeal court sitting in Owerri, the Imo State capital and headed by Justice R.A. Ada, had struck out the appeal filed by the All Progressives Grand Alliance candidate in the 2019 governorship election in Abia State, Alex Oti, and validated Governor Ikpeazu's victory of the People's Democratic Party. Earlier before the appeal court judgment, the 3-man panel of the governorship election petition tribunal sitting in Umuahia, Abia State capital, and chaired by Justice A.L. Gumoye, had dismissed the petition filed by 2019 ABGA gubernatorial candidate Dr. Alex Oti against the declaration of Governor Ikpeazu. The tribunal ruled that the petitioner failed to prove the case of overvoting, non-compliance to the INEC election guideline and the Electoral Act. Alex Oti had prayed the tribunal to cancel 15 out of the 17 local government areas election results in Abia State, alleging that the respondents, Governor Ikpeazu, who was the governorship candidate of PDP, perpetrated excessive malpractice in those LGAs in the last March 9, 2019 election conducted in the state. He, however, furthered his appeal at the Supreme Court. Abia State Governor Ikpeazu has inaugurated an exploratory committee on the setting up of a University of Science and Technology in Aba. The committee is chaired by Professor Anya O. Anya. From Government House, Umuahia, Laura Okafor has details.
Governor Ikpeazu, while inaugurating the committee charged them to leverage on Abia in certain advantages that were available in the state, especially the entrepreneurial system of Aba through small and medium-scale enterprises. The governor, who admitted that the task is Herculean, urged the community to be propelled by the high sense of patriotism and the need to bear the entire sense of Indibo today and the future in mind in the discharge of their duties. He described the vision as pan-Igbo and expressed conviction that God will grant Abia the favor and resources to enable the state to achieve the desired results within the allotted period. The community is expected to, among other things, find out the viability of such institution in Aba, leverage on the small and medium-scale enterprises activities around Aba to drive the institution, take a look at the rich human and natural resources of Indibo, and explore the possibility of partnership with development partners. He explained that human and capital development is essential in the midst of the dwindling economy, hence the decision to provide middle and high cadre manpower to issues and add value to the economy.
God will grant us favor and endeavor to enable us to achieve this particular purpose within the shortest possible time. I have expressed confidence in the ability of these gentlemen and lady to equip themselves and deliver within the shortest possible time. The University of Science and Technology that will serve not only Ndabia but Indibo, and then form and become the forum that will drive new distance in science and technology from the eastern part of Nigeria, from the benefit of Africa.
Professor Ala chairman of the committee, in his acceptance speech, assured that the vision will be achieved for posterity's sake. He said the committee will ensure that the institution comes to fruition to complement the Yoruba economic city.
Once you dreamt about the Abia economic city, you have immediately said they have to be the University of Science and Technology, because you cannot have an industrial city unless the motive force, the energy that drives it, which is science and technology, is available. So you're only completing as an assignment you've already started. And the chair of the committee will say that we will give you all the support so that the vision you have will be achieved. And it is not for the sake of all of us here, it's for the sake of my grandchildren. They are the ones that need to be brought to know that they have not only an identity, but a capacity that the world itself recognizes.
The university is expected to serve not only Abians but Igbos, and also form a fulcrum that will serve the new vista of science and technology for the benefit of the Igbo race. Naya Okafor, MCL News.
The Abia Police Command says it has arrested an alleged member of a kidnap and armed robbery gang said to be terrorizing the residents of Aba. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Mr. Eme Okon, confirmed the arrest to the newsmen in Aba on Wednesday. He said that a reliable police source identified the suspect as Darlington Olorumbo from Obaz in Beri, an Imbitoli local government area of Imo State. He said that the suspect was residing at number 20 Christ Street off Iberi Road, Aba. Okon said that the suspect was a member of a 3-man kidnap and robbery gang on the wanted list of the intelligence response team. Olorumbo was arrested at Agro Street off Elvina Road by a team of detectives led by Alphonsus Iron, the divisional police officer in Jekoro in Aba, following a tip-off. He was allegedly arrested while in possession of one locally made revolver pistol with 1 live ammunition, 1 locally made double-barrel shotgun, and 6 rounds of live cartridge. A police source said that during interrogation, it was discovered that the suspect and his gang were getting set for a kidnap operation before he was arrested. The source said that the command has intensified the search for the 2 other members of the gang who were said to be on the run following Oleyembo's arrest. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board says over 250 computer-based test centers have so far been accredited for its upcoming 2020 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The board has fixed this year's examination for March 14th to April 4th, while an optional mock examination for candidates is scheduled for February 18th. Similarly, the board also says that it will commence the sales of its registration documents from Monday, January 13th to Monday, February 17th. The head media and information of the board, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, told the newsmen on Sunday in Lagos that arrangements for the commencement of the sales of the documents nationwide has been concluded. He urged candidates seeking to sit for this year's UTME and who are yet to acquire the NIN to intensify efforts to do so in order to participate in the examination. The Borno State government on Wednesday directed the immediate closure of all illegal gas stations and retail outlets in the state. The directive was contained in a statement signed by Francis Weze, the Special Assistant on Media to Governor David Umahi, and made available in Abakaliki. Weze stated that the measure was taken to forestall fire outbreaks during the dry season. The statement said, "The move is to ensure that the state's health, safety, and environmental regulations conform to national and international best oil and gas field practices. All gas stations must cooperate with the approval of the Abakaliki Capital Territory and Development Board and Department of Petroleum Resources on the issue. Defaulters of this directive will be penalized in accordance with the laws of the state and shall pay approved penalties." End of quote. U.S. President Donald Trump has extended an olive branch to the Iranian people. Trump said in a live address on Wednesday that the U.S. is ready to embrace peace. "People and leaders of Iran, we want you to have a future and a great future that you deserve, the one with prosperity and harmony. The United States is ready to embrace peace," he said. However, Trump warned, matter of fact, that Iran must abandon any plan for nuclear weapons and cease supporting militias in the region. He therefore called on other world powers to make a deal with Iran to make the world a safer and peaceful place. Trump added that Iran can be a great country, but peace and stability cannot prevail in the Middle East as long as Iran continues to foment violence, unrest, hatred, and war. Still to come on the news, Nze Fred Ezigbo laid to rest. No survivors after Ukrainian airliner with 176 aboard crashes in Iran. Igali eyes 8 spots for Nigerian wrestlers. Details after the break. Please stay tuned.
Alright, how's it going? Welcome.
Well, here's the result.
Wow, the lab results.
Yes.
Okay. Where is this man? She has malaria.
Malaria?
Yes.
What do you think should be prescribed for?
We prescribe Casimir tablet.
Casimir tablet?
Yes, Casimir tablet.
Casimir tablets get at letter and lumefantrine for inside. Casimir tablets now Maxim Laboratories Private Limited for India. They make them, but na Grace Best Pharmacy and Store Limited. And then they distribute Casimir tablets for here. Casimir tablets get NAFDAC approval for take fight malaria, promote your family.
Casimir tablets, na correct anti-malaria.
Casimir tablets, it dey stop every malaria.
In the resurrection,
Celebration of life, glorious transition of a liver extraordinaire. The Nkoroji family of Umatolo Awovo village, Enugu in Anambra State, cordially invites you to the glorious homegoing of Elder Sir Gabriel Chinyere Nkoroji, KSA Wireless Text Commercial Company Limited, aged 88. Funeral arrangements 13 December 2019, service of Psalms in the United States of America, time 8:30 p.m. Venue, the Unique Event Center, 801W Victoria Street, Suite G, Carson, CA 90220. 15 January 2020, Commendation Service, time 11 a.m. Venue, St. Michael's Anglican Cathedral, Aba, Abia State. 16 January 2020, Night of Tribute, time 4:30 p.m. Venue, his country home, Ugoji Close, Omatulu Awovo Village, Enugu, Anambra State. 17 January 2020, Lion State at his country home, time 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Commendation service, time 10 a.m. at St. Monica's Anglican Church, Omatulu Awovo, Enugu, Anambra State. 18 January 2020, condolence visit continues with his in-laws, family, colleagues, among others. 19 January 2020, after service at St. Monica's Anglican Church, Omatulu Awovo, Enugu, Anambra State. For inquiry, more information, call OK Nkwaje on 080-3595-7850 or 090-840-70730. May his gentle soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. Sign, OK Nkwaje.
Mommy, mosquito is biting me.
But I asked you to use Top Rank insecticide. Top Rank insecticide kills mosquitoes, cockroach, flies, and every other crawling and flying insects faster anywhere around you. NAFDAC approves Top Rank insecticide for its effectiveness. Use Top Rank insecticide and enjoy a peaceful night's rest. Available in all shops and supermarkets near you in 600ml can and 300ml can. Top Rank insecticide is marketed nationwide by C Success Multi Services Limited. Telephone 0813-111-2348 or 090-960-22577. Top Rank insecticide. What's worth doing is worth doing well.
You're welcome back. The remains of late Nze Fred Alozie Ezigbo has been laid to rest. The funeral ceremony took place at his country home in Umuahia, Nzirimo, in Umuahia South Local Government Area of Abia State. Nchetachi Chukwaja reports.
Nze Fred Alozie Ezigbo's last journey on earth began with a lying estate at his compound in Umuahia community in Nzirimo, Umuahia South Local Government Area of Abia State. There, his remains were seen for the last time by his family and relatives. A requiem mass was held in his honor at St. Peter's Catholic Church, Umuahia, Nzirimo. The officiating priest, Reverend Father Valentine Ntamaka, read from the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 17 to 27. He emphasized the inevitability of death and urged the congregation to live a life worthy of emulation. Nze Fred Ezigbo's remains was committed to Mother Earth in his compound after the offering of prayers and other funeral rites. Family members of the deceased relived moments and fond memories with their late patriarch.
My husband asked me what I would do when he passed away. I didn't know he wants to die. As I told him that I would be strong. Since my God is with me, I am strong. I experienced this fatherly care and love, so I with that fatherly care and love that I used to get from him.
My dad, he was a disciplinarian, a man who loves people to do the right thing. And if you are not ready to do the right thing, two of you cannot work together.
I miss sharing, the advice, his love, everything about him.
My father taught us to be courageous, bold, and he always asked us to say the truth, no matter the circumstance.
I miss one attitude about him, and that is peace. He is a peaceful man. I've never met a man that is like this man. A man that can give everything for peace. Whenever you're around him, he will remind you, tell you stories of things that happened that you should not allow it to happen in your present days.
He's a man that people learn from. He loves peace, and he preach peace, and he keep peace. And also he's a God-fearing person. One thing I learned from him, if you are with him, you must learn how to serve God.
Chairman of Nsurimo Traditional Rulers Council, Chief Azubi Kenwichi, also spoke good of him.
Onye nke ya bịara ya chere adịghị onye na-eji nke ya nwere mmadụ dị ya nzezi Igbo gaa ijiri nke ọma.
The late Nze Fred Alozie Ezigbo is survived by a widow, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and numerous other relations. Aged 90, Nze Ezigbo was the father-in-law of Precious Ezigbo of the News and Current Affairs Department of MCL Television. Nchetachi Chukwaja, MCL News.
A Ukrainian airline crashed shortly after takeoff from Tehran on Wednesday, bursting into flames and killing all 176 people on board. Debris and smoldering engine parts from the Boeing 737, which carrier Ukraine International Airlines said was last serviced 2 days ago, was strewn across a field southwest of the Iranian capital, where rescue workers in face masks laid out scores of body bags. The Ukrainian Foreign Minister Vadim Pristeko said among the victims were 82 Iranians, 63 Canadians, 11 Ukrainians, 10 Swedes, 3 Germans, and 3 Britons. The airline noted that most passengers were in transit. The accident occurred as confrontation between Iran and the U.S. threatens to trigger a wider conflict in the Middle East, and officials cautioned that speculation about what happened is premature. It was the Kiev-based carrier's first fatal crash, and said that it is doing everything possible to establish the cause. Canadian Foreign Minister Francois Philippe Champagne expressed condolences with Ukraine's government. Under international rules, responsibility for investigating the crash lies with Iran. The Iranian state television said both of the plane's black box voice and data recorders had been found. On sports, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has denied giving approval to former boxing champion Bash Ali to stage a world fight in Nigeria. Kola Daniel, Special Assistant Media to Minister of Youth and Sports Development, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday in Abuja. He said the legal department of the ministry had written to the boxer warning him to desist from pending false claims about a non-existent approval from the office of the minister for the fight. Daniel reiterated that no such approval was granted by President Muhammadu Buhari, contrary to claims by the boxer that the approval was conveyed to him by the office of the minister. He therefore asked the boxer to keep to the facts and follow the process in his plans to stage the fight. D.A. Muhammad, Director of Legal Services in the ministry, also denied the boxer's claim. Muhammad said in a letter dated January 7, 2020, that no approval has been granted by either the ministry or the presidency for the fight. The 63-year-old former boxing champion is seeking to enter the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest boxer to win a world title. The former boxer, who has not competed professionally for more than a decade, is seeking to take on a yet-to-be-identified American boxer in a bid to clinch the world record. The proposed fight has, however, been fraught with lots of controversies. President of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, is hopeful that 2020 will even be better for the sport after last year's groundbreaking achievement. Apart from dominating the continent at the African Championships in Tunisia and the 12th African Games in Morocco in 2019, Team Nigeria grabbed 3 global laurels. Back-to-back Commonwealth champion Odunayo Adekunle, 57 kg, won bronze, her third medal at the World Championships in Kazakhstan, while Blessing Onyebuchi, 70 plus, and Mercy Genesis, 50 kg, both claimed gold and silver medals at the inaugural ANOCA World Beach Games in Doha, Qatar. This will establish Nigeria as the first to reckon with in world wrestling. Looking ahead to what promises to be a very busy year in wrestling, the Bayelsa State Sports Commissioner highlighted some of the competitions that the country's wrestlers will be taking part in. The 2019 was definitely a good year for Nigeria, but our desire and hope is that 2020 becomes even a better year for us, the world and Olympic champion said. With only Adekunle securing her place at the Olympics this year by virtue of winning bronze at the 2019 World Championships, Igali also disclosed that the NWF intends to qualify no fewer than 6 athletes for the Tokyo 2020 Games, adding that plan to be made to give them quality preparations as well. At the Rio Games in Brazil 4 years ago, 7 wrestlers, 5 women and 2 men represented Nigeria, but the country is yet to win an Olympic medal in wrestling. That's the news package this morning, but before we sign out, a recap of our major stories. President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday met behind closed doors with the Minister of State, Petroleum, Timothy Silva, and Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mela Kyari, separately at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Supreme Court on Wednesday affirmed the election of Okezit Basil as Abia State Governor. The Abia Police Command says it has arrested an alleged member of a kidnapping and armed robbery gang said to be terrorizing the residents of Aba. And on sports, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has denied giving approval to former boxing champion Bash Ali to stage a world fight in Nigeria. Please join us again by 8 a.m. for Good Morning Abia. I am Amanda Carlo. Thank you and good morning.